Hey guys, I'm Ray, and we are streaming blacksmithing. So welcome to the stream, everybody. Today is a new day. It's Monday, and we are here, which is, an accomplishment in and of itself. Today has been quite the day. I started the day by attempting to upload Friday's VOD, or download it actually, and that's when my trouble started, I guess. So I went to Twitch to download my VOD so I could post it up on YouTube today, and my internet dropped to a super low speed. And I mean, that happens sometimes. You know, we have both, experienced how finicky my internet can be. And so it decided that it wasn't going to upload or download my VOD. So eventually, after fighting with it for a little bit, I was able to get it back up and download the VOD. And then I changed the codec and I tried to upload it onto YouTube. And I don't know. I guess fate did not want me to upload the VOD on time today, because for the next 2 hours I got 24% uploaded. So yeah, my internet is really finicky today, and fingers crossed we have a nice steady stream. But if not, I'm not gonna be shocked at all, because it's just been, my internet has just been up and down and up and down all around today. So we're gonna do our very best, and try to get the stream taken care of, and enjoy our time that we have together. So I did eventually get that VOD up on YouTube, as well as the rest of the shorts for this week. I had a few things that I wanted to add to the shorts. So this weekend I actually pulled out the coal forge, my little coal forge. It's like about yay big around, and it's like a rivet forge. And so I pulled that out, and we actually used it. Whoops. To bend the legs into shape. So all four of these legs are bent at a similar angle. So these over here are going to be the feet. And then these two sections here, we're going to have to cut them so that they are the proper length, but we're going to be able to weld those onto the forge itself. So we've got 4 of these, and I used the coal forge to bend them, because I can fit a lot more material in the coal forge since it doesn't have a roof. We discovered on Friday that I wasn't going to be able to finish bending these in the propane forge, because it just wasn't getting them quite hot enough for me to do the full bend in one go. And after I had a partial bend, I could not heat the leg up again. So coal it was, and I mean that's a great part of the coal forge, is that it doesn't have a cover, so you can put just about any size piece in it. It is a little bit, or my little one is a little bit on the flimsy side, and that's definitely why we are building this coal forge, so I can do a little bit more heavy duty work with it, and have a little bit more coal and a little bit more heat. So look for some of those shorts. They will be out in the coming days. I think it starts tomorrow. For the next 3 days, we are going to be doing shorts based on the coal forge up on YouTube. So this is going to be a fun week for me today, or I mean, I guess this week. Welcome in, welcome in. Zelix, go. Welcome. Hey, Yankee gave me a shout out 3 minutes ago to 45 viewers. Thank you so much, Yankee. So yeah, if you are here from Yankee's stream, welcome in. Yeah, let's see. So what was I saying? Oh, this week is going to be an interesting week because we have two for sure streams. So today's stream and Wednesday's stream, we're for sure going to be streaming for as long as the internet will hold out. And we are going to finish up this coal forge. And then on Friday, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to stream or not. It kind of depends on how I'm feeling. Sometimes I get a little bit, or I'm a little bit tired and I stream anyway. And because I know that I have some time coming up and the day after so that I can rest up a little bit more. But on Saturday, I will actually be in Indiana at the Indiana Blacksmith Association Conference, the IBA. So about a month ago, we went to the BAM conference, the Blacksmith Association of Missouri. So we're doing another field trip, and so yeah, Friday, if I'm feeling up to it, we're definitely going to stream, but I want to stream on Saturday. So if we do not stream on Friday, we will 100% be streaming on Saturday. So look for that. And it will be another live stream at the conference itself. Are an NPC? Are you in the Matrix? I mean, I'm doing the work of an NPC. I myself, sometimes I feel like a player character. Sometimes I feel like an NPC. But you guys, I mean, I talk a little bit more than your typical gaming NPC. But yeah, maybe I'm an NPC in you guys' life. So yeah, welcome to the stream. Somebody had some really loud music going. I have the garage door open over on this side because it's really nice and warm in here today. I'll be putting on the fan in a few when it starts getting too warm for me when I start welding. But today, what we're going to start is we are going to start working on our coal forge again. So as you can kind of see, we have fabricated our forge pan here. So this is a sheet of steel, and then I have put railings made out of a bed frame all the way around this sheet steel. So the next thing that we're going to do is we are going to be welding the legs onto our coal forge so that it can stand up on its own. And so the first thing that we've got to do is we have to mark where on these legs that we need to cut them, because we want the coal forge to be about as tall as it's sitting on this table here. So we've got a little bit of extra room on these legs, and I left myself some extra room just so that I'd have a little bit of play, because I can never bend exactly where I want it to happen. So that's kind of what we're going to start with. And so I've got a piece of soapstone here, and now we're going to mark where we need to use the angle grinder to cut these legs off. Let us see. All right, you guys should be able to see the legs and where they line up right here along this forge pan. So we've kind of got them off at an angle a bit so that this corner meets or is like perfectly above the corner of the legs. So now we need to kind of mark where we need to cut these off. So I'm going to grab my square just so that it's a little bit easier to do this. And we're going to stick this underneath of here. That way we can kind of mark this. So that's a good mark right there. We're going to cut that off right there. Now we're going to come over this side. And we've got this nice lip that I've added onto here. So it's going to be a little bit lower maybe. We'll mark back here, and I know you guys can't really see this, but I can, and I can bring this all the way around. All right, so now we've got our legs marked so we can cut these off so that we've got 2 of those. And now we're going to move over here to this side. Mark this leg here. And then one more leg. Okay, we've got all 4 of the little areas of the leg marked off. So we're going to go up here to this view, and then I'm going to pull the legs up. We're going to do a little bit of, or we're going to cut these legs off so that they'll actually fit under here and we can weld them on. So first things first, I need to get my apron on so that I don't spray sparks everywhere. And then we'll kind of figure out how I want to position this so that we can cut these legs and you guys can see it. All right, stuff's over there. I know I definitely should have put my apron on before I came over here, you know, but today has been a lot already. So I'm doing my best. I also went to the store today to kind of try and get the rest of the pieces that I need so that I can attach a blower to this coal forge. Part of the way that you keep a coal forge lit is by attaching a blower of some type. Sometimes they're hand crank, sometimes they're electric. A lot of people will use hair dryers for this. I have a bathroom vent fan. So like when you take a shower and you get all that steam there, you turn on your vent fan in your bathroom and it gets rid of all that steam so you can see in the mirror. So that's kind of what I use for keeping the heat in and making that fire really, really hot. So in order to attach the blower, I had to buy some black iron pipe fittings. So we've got a flange here, and this is a 1.5-inch flange. And then I have a few more accoutrements. We've got, our 1.5-inch flange. We've got an 1.5-inch T. So this is a T black iron pipe fitting. You can kind of see that. So these will fit together, but they don't fit exactly together. You kind of have to have a pipe that goes in between them. And then this is, this is the pipe. This is this 1.5 inches by 6 inches long. And the official term for this is a nipple. So I kind of wanted to be a little bit funny, and I really thought about, being like legs or adding legs and adding nipples to, but I thought that would be a little bit, not where I wanted to go immediately. So yeah. When I tried making a little forge in my garden, I got a leaf blower off Facebook Marketplace. I will say it was way over the top. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I use a bathroom fan. I also have another blower that is for an inflatable bouncy house, right? I used to work at a place that had bouncy houses. And so I used to work with them all the time. And somehow I went to a flea market and somebody was selling one, not the bouncy house, just the blower. So I also have a bouncy house blower, and we'll see which one works better for the forge when we get there. So this right here, it's a piece of black iron pipe. It's about 6 inches long. It is an 1.5 inch wide or diameter. And the official, like I said, the official term for this is a nipple. So what we're going to do is we are going to attach the flange and the nipple. We're going to screw these together. If I can get them screwed together, that is. And then the T goes on top here, like so. These are really, really greasy, so I might have to grab my, okay. Whoops, that's not even the side I want to use. I want to use the long side. Okay. So this guy is how we're going to attach our blower, right? So I have a second pipe that's going to go on this end here. And then down here is where, because after you burn your coal, you end up with what's called clinker. It is like glassy, the ashy, and like the part that can't burn. So I need an area to allow that to fall down and out of the forge because it creates cold spots in there. So that's what this is for. So this whole contraption is going to fit in the fire pot in this hole. So we'll get to that in a few. Right now I'm going to wipe the grease off of my hands because black iron pipe always gets greased up or oiled up so that it doesn't rust before you buy it. So let me grab a paper towel real fast, and then we will situate all of this stuff so that you guys can see me when I cut it. All right. I know. You guys can probably see me lifting up my legs over the cord because my laptop is over here and my camera is over there, and I only have like a 15-foot USB cable to attach the camera to the computer. So, we do what we must. Okay. That can go over there for now. And let's see, what's a good view for you guys? If I do that, you probably won't be able to see unless I put this over here. All right, it looks like you guys will be able to see me cut from that view. All right, so I got a couple more things I got to do to set this up so I can make sure that I can cut these without incident. This is an angle grinder. It's just a regular, angle grinder. I got to plug it in though. So I've got an extension cord over here behind me. Got to plug this in so it actually functions. It helps when the long side and the long side join. Okay, the next thing I need to do is grab my mask. Whenever you are using a grinder or an angle grinder or even a bench grinder like this, sand or anything like that, you make sure that you use a dust mask so that you don't inhale all of the dust that is being kicked up, because it may look really big, but you can still inhale it, and it's not good for your respiratory system. Safety, and safety particularly for me, as I have issues with my lungs. All right. Hearing protection, you only got one set of ears. Okie doke. Let's see here. Let's cut this guy. Side one is done. Let's see. It was a little bit iffy on that, so I think what I'm going to try and do is instead of doing that without clamping it down, I might try and clamp that down. So let's do this again. Let's try this. Let's try this. Here's my clamps. These are beautiful clamps. They're lovely C clamps. They work very, very nicely. I'm going to take this and put it over here for the moment. And then this guy too. Oops, there goes my multi-tool. We'll put that over there for now. That way it's a little bit easier for us to clamp this down. Chalk. It's a little bit on the brittle side. We'll put this over here. Okie doke. Clamp this down so it doesn't move anywhere. Alrighty. Let's do the next part. It helps when you put the right camera on. Okay, here we go. There is number 2. Now I'm going to switch legs. And apparently trip over my cord. And now we'll set up our next one, and it looks like I've worn out my angle grinder disc, so we will change that while we're at it. There it goes. All the things. Okie doke. And let's change our angle grinder disc. You can kind of see that there's some you can definitely see the fiberglass fibers in there, and so that just means it's really dull, and I should definitely get another one. So let's do that real fast. I buy these guys in packs of 10 because I run through so many of them. There we go. Much more better. All right, so we got a fresh angle grinder disc on here. And now we're going to work on these legs. Kind of trying to even them out so that I can weld these on there. So we're definitely going to be doing a little bit of welding today. Get those on there and everything. All right, let's do this. We'll start on this side. And then this side over here. Alrighty. All the legs. Alright, I'm going to take that off and this off for a moment. Now that I'm done with the first two legs. So the next thing that we're going to do, we're going to put this over here. Because we still have two more legs that we need to cut off, but I want to put these two legs on first. So that's the next thing that we're going to do. We are going to weld these two legs on. So we'll set that up. Stick that over there for now. All right. So this side was over here. And we're going to kind of line these up again. Must have been this direction. Yeah, that's much more better. If I line this up by bringing this over here so that it's just like I can lean this on here, that'll be better. That'll be the best thing I can do. Move this over here like so. All right. I think I made this just a little bit on the short side on that side, but that's not anything that we can't mess with with our weld. We'll start over on this side welding that. Okay. Got this all nice and lined up. If we look directly over that, we can now see that that is lined up pretty well. There we go. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is we are going to weld this on, but I think I'm going to take a break to grab, or not a really long break, but I want to turn on the fan because it's getting really warm and I'm starting to sweat, and then I will take a drink real fast. Alrighty. I will be right back. Just 1 second. It is super warm in here today. I have an industrial fan that I really like to use when it gets really hot in the summer. That'll work beautifully. Okay. I need a weight. So I'm going to put this guy over here, like so, to kind of push that down a little bit. And then I have another weight that I'm going to stick over here. And that is this guy right here. And this is going to kind of help us push this down a bit. It takes a while to set up a weld, but it is, if you set up your weld properly, you're actually going to get better results. So take that extra time to set up your weld and make sure that it's nice and, you know, exactly what you want it to be before you actually start doing that tack. All right, so this, I'm really actually happy with that. That's gonna, it's really on there, and I'll be able to weld that in there really nicely onto this railing. Hi, Mahalo, welcome in. Welds are all about setup, so I need to make sure that everything is touching and it's all lined up exactly where I want it to be. So if I look straight down that corner, when I see that corner on the ground, and I wonder if I could actually show that to you. Let's see if I can. There is a chance that I've got, you know, this is my other camera, so maybe I will be able to show that to you guys. The depth of field is too shallow on this camera. I'm sorry, guys. So I had to put this down. Maybe I'll show it to you with my phone when I get that far. Alright, so we're going to bring that over there. That way you guys will be able to see the weld. That is on minimum, so now the filter is on maximum. And I'm going to start recording. I think I'm going to start recording, that is. Okay, there's that. Now one more time over there. And we're going to start recording on this one too. Okay. Welcome in, Sandwich. Good evening. Welcome, welcome. So I have just finished setting up my weld. So right now we are welding the legs onto our forge pan. So this back leg over here, I have this all nice and set up. I've got some weights here to make sure that the forge pan is like down on this leg and little to no gap. So as I do this weld, you know, it'll there's a little bit of shifting that'll happen, but not nearly as much. We're going to start by tacking these guys. And then from the tack, we are going to finish by going all the way around. So, first things first with welds, you need to make sure that you put the ground on. So we're gonna ground the table. That way it's a little bit easier. We'll put that over there so I don't accidentally burn the cable. Welding shields. And what I do with my gloves are over there. I'm so sorry, guys. I was not prepared. Illidan would be very, very disappointed in me. Ugh. Okay. Got my welding gloves. I'll stick them over here for now. Always with the left one. The left welding glove is the best one. Okay. Okay. I think what I'm gonna do, what I might do is actually take a picture of this lined up and stick it on Instagram. That way you guys can kind of see what it looks like from my view. Since I can't really show it to you with the cameras. Well, that was not what I wanted it to be. But that's all right. Next. That works. Weld. Okay, so that is on Instagram, so you guys can now tell what I'm looking at. If you're interested, that is. Yeah, you can check that out on Instagram. There is a link below on the channel. That way you guys can kind of see it. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to put the lens cap on the camera that you guys are looking at right now. And we're going to go to that weld. And that is so awful looking. Give me a second to focus that. I definitely need to put that in focus. Because, you know, of course we don't go into focus. There it is. Much better. Okay. Now lens cap time. Now the reason that I have to put the lens cap on the other camera is because welding light is really, really bright. I do not want to break my camera. So I've got a really dark filter over on the detail camera, and it makes it a lot less potent on the camera sensor. It helps when you plug in the welder, huh? And turn it on. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to start on this weld right here. We'll see what we can do here. Ready? There's a nice tack on there now. Let's do this one and we'll tack that and make sure that it is exactly where we want it to be, and then we'll put a bead all the way around it. All right. So we've got a nice tack there and a nice tack there. Plugging stuff in is overrated. Exactly. Exactly. All right, so I'm going to come over here and we're going to go all the way around on the front edge. And then we're going to turn this guy so I can get to the back edge. Alrighty, that'll work for that. And then we're going to do this edge over here for this one. Alrighty. Now I'm going to turn that off for just a second. We're going to come back over here to the main camera. And we're going to set up the rest of that weld. So we're going to get rid of our weights. We'll use them again in a few. Put that over there. We definitely have our welder off, so we don't have to worry about that. I will undo that. And we have one leg. Okay. Let's see. Can you guys see that still? It is trying very hard to focus on this. So let's see if I can't move this again and make it a little bit easier for you guys to see. All right. It looks like you guys can see. So I need to take this or weld on this side to make sure that it is welded all the way around. After that, we're going to start working on this front edge over here, but we're going to turn it again. So we're going to put the ground on top, or on the leg itself, and we're probably just going to leave that ground there. All right. Turn on the welder. The ND filter does not exactly make things easier for the autofocus. It definitely doesn't. I do the best I can, though. I really want you guys to be able to see. But yeah, the autofocus is like really having some issues today. So we're going to work on this weld over here. All right. There's a little hole right there that I got to fill up. Okay, and then we're going to go the opposite direction, this side over here. Now what I'm going to do is something that I don't normally do, but I think I need to this time. Welcome in, Ping. So we are on our way to welding these legs onto this forge table. The reason, I'm actually starting to burn myself with the welder. Normally, I don't have nearly the amount of problems that I'm currently having. with the welder, but because I'm squatting down, all of the spittle is kind of falling on me. So I need to actually use a full welding getup. So let me grab my coat real fast. I have not worn this coat in ages. Ages. All right, so I apologize if the sound pops for a moment while I'm putting this on. I don't really need to do all the buttons, just a few. And this is a welding jacket. I'm sure you've seen welders wearing them, you know, on commercials and things for like technical colleges and whatnot. I really hate wearing them because they're really, really warm. All right. Completely decked out, but I will not get burned now. Okay, let's see if the camera has decided it's going to focus. Okay, so that camera's focused. I'm actually going to go this direction through here so that I don't pass in front of the camera. But it helps when I have the lens cap that I'm trying to put on, so I guess I screwed that one up. Okay. And the reason I'm doing this is so that I don't wreck my cameras. Okay, doke. Those welds really count if keeping the coal off your feet and lap. They do. They definitely do. Alrighty. Fully ready to go. Let's turn on the welder. Pretty sure it's on. Or maybe I turned it off. I must have just turned it off. Alright, here we go. We're going to do this side now. Alright. That's actually a lot better now. The spittle's not anywhere near me. So now we're going to start working on this side of the leg. And I have another idea. Guys. This is a great idea, and it's a better idea. Turning things on is also overrated. Exactly. You know what? Planning things out is definitely not overrated. If I was a smart woman, I would have thought about this a lot earlier. Guys. What if I turn this upside down? We already have the tack that's putting it in place. So if I turn it upside down or like around like this, then I don't have to be crouching. Smart. Always thinking. Except not in time. Okay, that's much better. I understood this was on purpose to keep it straight. And yes, it is definitely on purpose. We will have to turn this upside down again so that we can put the other leg on straight. However, once I have them tacked on, there's no reason that I need to keep it turned correct side. And there's no reason I can't turn it over so that it makes it easier to reach the rest of the welds. So, yes, smart things, smartness, you know, hopefully I can continue to be smart and make smart decisions. All right, where's the last one? The last one's right there. All righty. You were practicing uphill winds in the dark. Respect. Exactly. I'm doing things. It's been a while since I've welded anything like this. So we're going to try this again. And it's really having a lot of issue keeping its focus. Is it going to focus? It's not going to focus. And I need to redirect it anyway. So give me a moment and I will do that. I'm sorry, guys. Today's a little scuffy. Come on. There we go. That's better. I think. I hope. Fingers crossed and all that. All right. You guys can still see. And now that this is actually right side up, I won't actually need the coat as badly. Okay, let's try this again. Once I turn on the welder. It is totally keeping its focus, its own focus, personal focus, not on the piece, that is. Exactly. All right, let's do this. Oh my goodness, so much easier, guys. So much easier. Okie doke. And I'm going to go over this section right here. It's a little bit light on the weld. Nice, nice. That's much better. Much more better. And then there's a little bit over here that I need to get. I'm actually going to come over here myself so that it makes it easier to get. All right, here we go. All right, that leg's on there pretty darn good. So now it is time to set up the next weld. Whoa, as I trip. Once upon a time, I didn't trip. Did I not just? Okay, there it went. All right, I'm going to take this coat off for a moment. It is so warm in here. I don't think I can wear it the whole stream. Okay. Let's set up the next weld. Stick that over there. Now the worst part about this particular welding table is that it kind of tilts. So sometimes when you're trying to make things like really level, it makes it a little bit challenging. But really that's what levels are for and whatnot. Okay. So now we get to apply the second leg. On here. All right. This might actually need to turn the other direction. Give me just 1 minute. I gotta figure out if these are the correct sides. Did I make it that way? Nope, I made it. I definitely made it this side when I cut it. All right. Okay. There we go. That is much better as far as the setup. So if I look straight down there, the corner is definitely sitting exactly where it needs to go. And the tacks are definitely ready. It looks like we are going to be level. I have a level over there. Let's see if I can't make sure that they're level. Here's a small one. Does this actually have a bubble? I need to kick this up a little bit because it's leaning this direction a little. There it is. It's nice and level now. Welcome in, Yankee. Welcome in. Hello, hello. Thank you so much for that raid. Welcome in, everyone. Today, we are making a forge. So right now I am setting up my next weld. I'm having a few technical difficulties with the other camera. I have a heavy dark filter on it, and my autofocus having a little bit of issue compensating for it. But overall, I think we're having some fun. So yeah, we are building a coal forge today. I just set up the second leg. We've already welded our first leg on here. So thank you so much and welcome to the stream, everyone. Doing a little bit of welding. I definitely missed that. So, okay. Have we shouted out? Yes, we did. We shouted out. Hey, hey, welcome in, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. Okay. So, like I said, we are now level, which is very important when you are making furniture, less important when you're making a forge, but I still really want it to be level. So we have our weld set up. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're actually going to be tacking the legs on this leg and this leg. Once those are tacked on, we no longer need to keep it facing the floor. Part of the reason that I'm having it, or that I have it facing this direction, is just so that I can set up the weld exactly where I want it to. So once it's tacked, we'll flip it all the way upside down so it makes it a lot easier to go around the rest of the leg. Okay. So tacks it is. I don't need the level anymore for the moment. So now I got to set up. We are going to take the ground. which is essential for welding. And we're going to stick it on the leg that we have already applied. That way it's out of the way and it's not going to interfere with our tacking. Next, helmet. And I think I'm going to leave the jacket off. Left-handed glove. And there we go. Once upon a time, I did not drop my lens cap. Ugh. I only have one filter, so unfortunately, I have to put a lens cap on my other camera just so that I can make sure that I don't break the sensor. Okay. And you guys can't even see where the weld is. Let me take care of that. And we're still not in focus. Goodness gracious. Like I said, it's this stupid filter. It's like it hates it. All right. So those two legs there is exactly where I'm going to be welding. And it would help if I could get around my shop. Alrighty. It likes the shiny stool. It does. You know what? If it likes the stool, then we're going to get rid of the stool. We don't have to have the stool in the shot. Oh, and it looks like we are about to start an ad. So once that ad is done, I will start that weld. This gives me a perfect opportunity to take a drink. It is incredibly warm today. It's like in the 80s. I'm kind of actually glad that I don't have the forge up, because the forge itself, it makes it so hot in here. It's kind of ridiculous. So we are going to be tacking this leg here. I'll probably start over here with this little area right here. And then we'll move on to that other side over there. And that's a little bit more difficult because I've got this lip going here. So I need to make sure that I can get the welding gun inside there. And today we're actually using a flux core welder. This is it's very similar to a MIG welder. But a MIG actually requires an argon gas container. This guy actually has the flux inside the little cord. So it's self-contained, and I do not actually have to, like, I don't have to keep track of a gas can. And so that, it's really convenient for me. It's a lot cheaper that way. And of course, same, it's 90 degrees here, 32 Celsius today, ahead of the storm front. Yeah, we've been having a lot of issues. It's really hazy outside because of the forest fires in Canada. So that's been affecting us a lot today. Okay, so we are going to start this tack now that the ad is done. So here we go. If I can get my helmet down. All right. That's a lovely tack. We're good to go on that one. So now we're going to come over here and we're going to see what we can do with this tack. I don't expect you guys to be able to see it. It's probably not going to be the best tack I've ever done, but it should be all right. Okay. We've got a tack. So now we're going to come over here. We're going to take the lens cap off. I'm going to flip my clips while I'm over here. And then we're going to flip back to the wide camera so you guys can kind of see what's going on. So I'm going to take the ground off. And I don't know why I took that off. So now we're going to turn this guy upside down again. Let me grab my other glove just so I can make sure that I, All right. Don't burn myself. Alrighty. My table is being difficult. It's tilting again. Alright. So I've got 2 legs on here. There we go. Hopefully that'll work. I think it's because I have so much weight over here. Let me take these off. So I was using these as weights because the forge pan was a little bit warped after we welded the rails on. So we might need them for our next setup, but it should be all right anyway. Okay, now that we've got this guy tacked on here, we're going to finish welding these areas up right here. So the next thing that we're going to do is put the ground back on. It's over here so that it's out of the way and we don't have to deal with it over there. Okay. This can go away. And this can go over here. That way I have plenty of space for it. Now I'm going to go over there and make sure that I've got a better view for you guys so that you guys can actually see it. Okay, there's that. Lens cap. Alrighty. Can you guys see? Yes, you can. Excellent. Okay. So right now we're going to go over this side and this side. We're going to make sure that we've gone all the way around so that we've got a good application and this isn't going to break off if we use something really heavy on it. Or if we're heating something really heavy. So we're going to start over here. Alrighty. Okay, so we're going to do over here now. got a little bit of extra wire going, and that's kind of why it's going a little bit puffy, I guess, is how I guess I would describe that. But it'll be all right. Okay, so now we're going to go into this little corner here, and then we'll start over on that side. Here we go. Alrighty. So this side is all taken care of. It's all welded on there. I'm pretty happy with that. So now we're going to work over here on this side. Maybe. All right, here we go. Woo! Lots and lots of sparks. We're sparklering today. Now we're going to come over here on this end here. This is a far one that you guys probably won't be able to see, but that's all right. We won't be back here for terribly long. And now we need to do this front end over here, this guy. So I'm going to come over this direction so that I can reach it better. Here we go. All right, all done with that leg. We've got 2 more legs to do. All righty. I feel like I'm a little bit on the locked in side on this guy. So I hope you're still entertained. And we will be back to our regularly scheduled programming by Monday. Like I said, we are going to be streaming on Wednesday, and then on Friday, I'm not sure if we're streaming. I'll try the best I can, but we may not be able to, because Saturday I will be streaming from the Indiana Blacksmith Conference. So we're going to go there and we're going to talk to some blacksmiths and, see what's happening on the Indiana side of things. Not that long ago, about a month ago, we got to see what was going on in Missouri. So this time it's Indiana. Yay, fire! Yay, fire! Whoopsie. I need to pick this guy up because I've caught my cable. Okay, so now we have 2 secure legs. Now we're going to do a 3rd secured leg. It's going to be a little bit of a challenge trying to make this work and set this up correctly. I will do the best I can, though. I'm actually pretty happy with the 2 legs that we have. It's sitting relatively pretty. So once we get this leg on, I'm going to get rid of this table. We're going to take it out of the garage so that we can work on our last leg for the tacks. And then we'll bring it back in so that we can finish the welds. Okay. Omni, Hoosiers, yes, Indiana. welcome in. Also, thank you so much to Nope Sudowich, DM1LL1, Big Snipes Entertainment. Thank you guys so much for the follows. Welcome to the community. I'm really glad you're here. I am here Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 2:30 to about 4:30, 5 o'clock on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, and that's Eastern time. I am actually in Central time. I'm actually situated pretty equidistant between the Missouri Blacksmith Association, the Indiana Blacksmith Association, and the Northern Midwest Blacksmith Association. So we do actually go and visit all three of them. And so this weekend is Indiana time. Okay, so it is time for our next leg. This is our next leg. And I have not cut this leg to size yet. So last night, my partner and I got out the other coal forge, the smaller one that I'm trying to replace with this guy. And we actually bent these legs using the coal forge. You can kind of see on this side right here that you can see some residue of that coal from when we bent these. And I do have video of that. So when this goes up on YouTube, like the edited version of this, that will be included. You can kind of see a few of my, a few shorts that have a little bit of the coal forge when we were doing this, that will be coming out this week on my YouTube. So we're going to take this and we're going to bring it over here. We're going to kind of set this up. And what I want to do is we left these long so that I could kind of cut them to shape exactly where I need them to be. So what we're going to do next is we are going to use the square to mark these guys, and then we're going to use the angle grinder to cut them to size so that we can weld that one on. And then that's the same process we will do for this last leg. Thank you, Blacksmith and Custom Fabricator as well, showing some metal love. I do love metal. I'm not just a blacksmith and a metal fabricator. I also do jewelry work. So I used to work for Signet, which is a big jewelry conglomerate here in the United States. So I do it all. I do, iron, steel, aluminum, bronze. I do sterling silver, gold, platinum, and, all the semi-precious stuff too. So, I mean, stick around, and there will always be a time where, there will be times where we do that sort of thing as well. Lately, I've been focusing on blacksmithing itself, but, I do copper, I do all kinds of metal. I love metal. It's kind of my special interest. All right. So, I've got them square here. And buried over here, I got a soapstone chalk piece. And that's right here. So we're going to come over here and we're going to mark these legs. So that we can cut them to size. This one's a little bit tricky because I have a vertical lip here. So it kind of has to sit underneath of this guy. So it looks like we don't actually need to move it that far down. So we're just probably going to shave that down just a hair like so. Because we do want that nice angle on there. And if I look down the corner, down to the corner, we do have a lovely line that everything is all nice and lined up for. So now that we've marked those, I am going to pull this up here and we're going to trim the legs so that they're the correct shape. And raw. Okay. So because I have two legs on here, I kind of want to keep this guy situated up here. So my issue now is that I'm a little bit worried about this moving around as I cut them with the angle grinder. So I think we're going to pull a fast one. And we're actually going to clamp it to the edge here. That way this doesn't move around as I'm cutting it, but I don't have to move this over. So we've got it all nice and situated. Now we got to cut these, trim them. That's awesome. 17-year metallery finisher. I know jewelry a little different than most, as I'm sure you do as well when making it. Yeah, I mean, I've done a lot of repair work as well as making jewelry. So yeah, I mean, the amount of things that you find underneath the bridge, like the hollow section of a piece of jewelry, like a ring or something, it's unbelievable. All right, let's see. And I apologize for talking so loud. I'm trying to talk loud enough that I can hear myself. And with the cars out there and the fan and everything, it's a little bit loud in here. I could put my headphones on, but they just don't fit underneath my welding helmet. So I'm doing the best I can. I'm sorry. Okay. It is hiding. That's where it is. We'll put this guy over here. That's my welding helmet. And this is my welding jacket, which I brought in case I needed it. I do, but not as much as I thought I did. Amen to that. One person's trash is another's treasure. Yeah. See, I was mostly a repair person. So when you buy insurance for jewelry, like mall jewelry, when it breaks, they send it to me. Okay. Whoops. All right, we are unplugging our welder so that we can plug in our angle grinder. So now we're going to do this. You know what? Safety first and all that. I need my mask. And my headphones. That way I can hear myself and I don't damage my hearing or my lungs any further than they already are. Now we're going to trim the side. Oh, come on. There we go. That's much better. Got to be a bit more careful when you are attaching to the edge because it's so thin. It's a little bit less secure. So we were jiggling just a little bit, and that caused us a little bit of headache. But we got to be, we do what we can. We're always as safe as we can be. Okay. All nice and trimmed. Ever get to work on a Super Bowl ring or something like that? See, I never got to work on a Super Bowl ring myself, because those are specially made. And I mostly worked at a shop that did mall jewelry. So a little bit less fun than that is the things that I got to play with. All right, so now I am attempting to put this back underneath it here. But we jiggled a little bit, so it's playing it's not playing nice to me. So the most important part of a weld, as I've said before, is setting it up to make sure that it is going to sit exactly where you want it to. All right. Corner to corner. Now let's get our level back. And stick that on there like so. And it is level this direction. So that is exactly what I want it to be, is level in that direction. When sparks fly, it's time. Thank you so much for that clip. Welding is so much fun, and grinding, I love fabrication. Okay, so it is now nice and level, and all we have left is this last corner. We're definitely going to have to raise it a little bit just so that it continues, so that it is level. Let's see. So now that we have that nice and set up, it is time to do the weld itself. So that means I have to set up the cameras and whatnot. Yes, yes. Okay. And before we get here, I just want to take a look from a little bit of a distance just to make sure that the whole thing is not, and it is a little bit, the whole thing is tilted just a hair as far as these legs. So what I want to do is pull this over a little bit. Like I said, I want to make sure that it's not totally out of whack. Because if it's leaning one direction or the other, it there is always a chance that it'll fall over when it's got weight on it. So we are doing our best here. So I am actually going to put a little bit of weight on here, if I can find a weight. I just had one like a couple minutes ago. This guy. Like I said, always the most important is making sure you've got your weld set up properly. Something screwy is going on, so I am going to use a little bit of an angle iron to kind of wedge it in there a little bit. Or at least I'm going to try to. All right, one more time, we're going to check that out, make sure that it's not going to fall over. All right, I've got plenty of space there. Make sure we're still level. That would be our last. There we go. Okie doke. Good to go. But we've got an ad starting here shortly, so I'm going to wait until we've got the ad. I'm going to use that time to kind of set up my cameras. So give me a moment here. Just a minute. Do that. That. And then let me refocus this camera so you guys can kind of see what I'm looking at. It's not wanting to focus, but I don't really have a good... That's as good as I can get it, I think. Let me see if I can't... It's supposed to be assisted autofocus, but it ain't working. Alright, we'll manual focus this. There we go. We are going to manual focus because we are awesome like that. We can do that. Alright. So you can definitely see where it's going to happen. Unfortunately, because of where it has to sit, it's going to be a little bit hard to see this section. So I apologize for that. With so many structures and edges in the frame, how would the autofocus know what to focus on? I know! So, I mean, it looks like I just need to use my manual focus. There's my other glove. Alright, now I need to unplug the angle grinder and plug the welder back in. And we'll turn the welder on. grab the gun, and you guys should be able to see what's going on a little bit. So we're gonna start this. We're gonna start in the front of the leg. And I only got the leg part. I didn't get any of the frame, so I gotta try this again. Much better, much better. All right, now we're gonna do the back one. Once this is done, we're gonna flip it over so that you guys can see all of it. Nice tack. Okie doke. Fireworks. Fireworks, fireworks. Okay. Pull this guy off. Stick it over there. And we're gonna get rid of the weight again. Always convenient to have a nice weight or some magnets or both. All right. Well, that worked. That's what happens when you don't tack properly and you start trying to move things. Well, I guess we're going to have to set that up and try it again. Raw. Trying not to burn myself too. There it goes. It untacked. Yes, it definitely did untack. So we're going to have to try this again, unfortunately. However, and it's because it was not penetrated enough. That's my own fault. So we're going to have to tack it in a different place. And then we will try that again. It didn't get enough penetration. Okay. We are lined up with the outlines of the flux that we had, so we're exactly where we need to be again. Let me try that again because that moved. There it goes. We're nice and lined up again. We're going to try that tack one more time. Okay. Let's see if we get some more penetration. All right, do I have a focus? I didn't move it too bad, so it should be good. All right. I gotta say, I am not the best welder in the world. If you ever hear a blacksmith say that they are an excellent welder, just know they're lying. I've never met a perfect blacksmith who is also a perfect welder. Although I'm not really claiming that I'm a perfect welder or I mean blacksmith either. All right, let's try this again, guys. Are you not on? There we go. Much mo better. Let's do this. Okay, we've got good penetration, so I think it'll be all right now. Let's try this again. All right, theoretically it should work a lot better now. I think I got more penetration. All right. Take the weight off. All right. See if we can do this. I'll put both gloves on and pay a little bit more attention to making sure that I am not putting extra stress on that side. Much better. All right. We're getting quite a bit of weight now. Quite a bit of weight. Which is actually what I want because it's going to make sure that this is nice and steady. So now we need to do the rest of the weld all the way around these legs. And then we'll work on this last leg. Whew. I'm getting tired already. And we've only been here for an hour and 45. I'm going to sleep good tonight. Okay. Let's see. All right. I just need to get these guys. Okie doke. What am I kicking all over the place? Metal, obviously. It's always metal. Always, always. Oh, what is happening? That's interesting. That works. It works when you don't put the lens cap on the active camera, guys. Louise. One of these days. My scuff is why you guys like me, isn't it? Alrighty, let's try this again. Alright, so I need to go all the way around here and all the way around there. I've got a little bit of extra lead on here, So let me cut that off real fast, otherwise it'll cause me issues. Okay. Turn that back on and we're good to go. Let's do this. And now this front guy here. And this is where we didn't get our penetration, so we're going to have to take special care of it. All right, much, much better. Now it's time for this guy. Front angle now. There we are. It is now good and on there. Okie doke. We have one more leg left to do, and that's this guy over here. So, yay, one leg left. We are really getting there. So now I have to figure out how I want to set this up. I've got 3 legs, so theoretically it should work relatively well. It should stand on its own. However, if the weight is distributed weirdly, it might not. So, we will figure it out as we go. Okay, so we have 3 legs that are, relatively good. So let's move this guy out of the way for a moment. We're going to bring him back when we need to turn it upside down. But for the moment, we have a 3-legged horse here. And I think I'm going to put it over here like so. That way you guys can kind of see a little bit better. The ground in my shop is a little off kilter, but I think it's all right. Okay. So, we have 1 leg left that we need to put on here. So the next thing we got to do is we've got to make sure that it's all nice and lined up so we can cut it properly. I'm going to go behind my camera so that I can kind of look at it and make sure that it's not sticking out in a weird way. Okay, I think that's going to be all right. I think that's going to be all right. So we're going to mark and trim this leg, and then we'll set up that weld. What do I do with my square? Here it is. I have it. It's right here. Okay, so that side is now marked. Now we're going to work on this side. We're going to mark this guy. Okay. Now I need to cut this at the line. Got a nice table that we can work with now. So I'm actually pretty happy with this. I think it's working out really nice overall. It's not wobbly or anything. Yeah. It's going to be nice and strong. Good to work on. So now we're going to clamp this on. And I think instead of doing one side, we're going to clamp two sides. That way maybe it won't move as much. All right, so here's our other clamp. We're going to toss it over here. And now we're going to clamp it. All right, it should be good to go. So now we have our angle grinder. We're going to plug it in and unplug our welder. And then safety gear. But first I'm going to take a drink. Very, very warm today. Very warm today. Okay. Oh, come on. Work with me. over to this side over here. Alrighty. The last piece is trimmed. Okie doke. So now we need to set up this last weld. Did I put it this way? I may have put it this way. Part of me thinks no, I didn't put it that way. I had to have put it this way, but it's being a butt. I have a little extra section that's being stupid, so. So I've got a little bit of extra flashing right there that I need to get rid of so that it'll sit under there a little bit better. So we'll try that again. Where'd it go? It's on this side. There it goes. Nice and flat. See if I can't get this under here now. Alright. It's this direction. Just like so. Or not. Ugh. This is definitely not level. But I think that has everything to do with my floor in the shop. The floor in my shop is not happy with me. There. And that should go on there beautifully. Let's try this again. Okay. So I'm going to check just to make sure that we're not too terribly weirded out. I think we'll be all right. Okay. And my floor has a weird slant, so this is going to be... I think it'll be all right. Okay, so we're about to do an ad. So the next thing that I'm going to do is we're going to wait out this ad, and then we're going to weld this on here. And then we're going to kind of play around a little bit with the interior, the circle, which is for the forge pot. We're going to play around with that a little bit. We've almost got it done. I'm getting real close. So we are going to tack this, and then we're going to bring the other table over, and I'm going to flip it over top, put it on the table. That way I can get a better, so I can reach it better. I'm definitely out of water again, but that's all right because I have a Gatorade that I'm going to start drinking. I definitely need it because it is ridiculously warm and I'm like sweating. Not amazingly like through my shirt yet or anything, but you know, it's definitely hot. I can definitely feel it. All right. There is a hair in my mouth. Gross. Okay. Unplug this. Plug in the welder. Put on the helmet. The left-handed glove. I'm going to put this over here. And I'm going to look at I'm going to set the camera. Okay. I should have a pretty decent focus on that. Fingers crossed and all that. I hope you guys can see it. I'm going to tag this camera, make sure that I don't mess it up. Left-handed glove. All right. Alrighty. We're going to tack right here, and then we're going to go over there and we're going to tack that. Here we go. It helps when you turn on the welder, guys. It helps when you turn on the welder. I'm a little bit worried about this tack. I don't think I got a lot of penetration, so we're going to try it again. Not doing so hot today on this tack welding. May end up having to just straight weld it. Okay, now we're going to go over here to that one. And we're going to tack this side. We're going to do it over here. Okay. Gonna do a little bit more. I just want to make sure that this does not fall off. But I think I'm pretty happy with that. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go like this. And we're going to bring over the table so we can finish welding that on. I'm actually really happy with how this is turning out. I think it's doing really well. So we'll move this over here like so. Wow, I definitely have a bad, my floor is really, really bad. Okay, let's see if I can do this. All right. Okie doke. It's all nice and on there now. And this is the side that we've got to weld, so it's very close to me, and that's probably a good thing. Okay. I am going to set up the cameras, and then we are definitely going to weld that up. Make sure that it doesn't fall off of there. Okay, cool. It's pretty happy, so we're going to do that and that. So we're welding this area right here all the way around, and this area right here all the way around. And then we'll be done with the forge table itself. Yay! All right. Here we go. When we turn our forge or our welder on. Jeez Louise. All right, guys. Here we go. You know what? It also helps when we put the ground on. I'm starting to get really tired, I think, and that's probably what's going on here. I'm sorry, guys. All right, let's do this. Here it is. Of course. All right, here we go. And we're going to go over on this side. This side. All done with this guy. Now we're going to go this side. And this side. Alrighty, and we are good to go. We have welded that all the way up. So we are done welding for the moment. Whoops. It helps when you take the lens cap off. There we go. Ground is fully overrated. Exactly. All right, guys. We have a welding table. I mean, I guess it's a coal forge. Yes. We have a fully welded coal forge. So we are good to go on that. I am really excited. This project has been really fun. So now we're going to take a look a little bit about the forge pot and a little bit of the mechanism for the blower. We probably won't take too much time doing that because I'm really starting to get tired. Fabrication is quite a bit more strenuous than blacksmithing. I'm more used to blacksmithing, I guess. So let's see what we can do. Let me grab my gloves first. Currently, it's still a cold forge. Yeah, it is definitely still a cold forge because, you know, it's not hot. Or it is still hot, I guess. I don't know. All right, here we go. There we go. I'm going to put this over here so that we can kind of take a look at this guy. See if I can't find. See, my problem is that I have a huge amount of like dips and divots in my floor right around here. So finding an area where it's going to sit level is going to be a challenge, at least in here. It's like Bluesy always says, turn it until it sits flat. I think that's kind of what I need to do here a little bit. Let me move it forward here. And it's still not, I don't know. Maybe it just needs feet leveler. That's always an option. All right, so this is our forge pot. This is where all of the coal is going to sit. And it sits in there just like so, right? So it's all nice and in there. This is where all of our heat is going to come from. And like I said earlier, we have a black iron pipe assembly. And so this is a flange down here. So this is kind of like what you see in, for like gas piping and things like this. So this is going to sit like so, but on the other side, right? So if I take this out of here and turn it over, it's kind of going to sit just like so. And then we have a nipple. This is just a piece of black iron pipe. And then this right here is a piece, or it is a T, right? So this assembly fits on here like so. And then Saul sits underneath of this guy as this sits in that hole. So on this side, we have another nipple, another pipe like this, that'll sit right here. And this is where the blower attaches. That's got to have some weight. It definitely does have some weight. So this guy sits in here like so. If I can get it in here. So we've got this whole assembly. This is where the blower goes, and then all the clinker, the used up coal, comes down out of here. And what we need, the last thing that we need for this is we need to put a door here, a swiveling door. So I need to drill a hole right here, and I need to tap it, and then we will make a plate that will slide back and forth so that we can allow the clinker to flow through, but then we don't lose all of the air that we need to come through the fire. So that's the last couple things that we need to do. So I'm probably going to do those on my own, and I will definitely have this guy up and running here for you guys to see very shortly. Pull the leg outwards. Yeah, I probably will end up pulling the leg outwards. Nothing a big hammer can't fix, I guess. So all the coal will be stacked on the brake side, or the disc side, right? Okay, so this assembly actually goes underneath. Let me put that over there. All right, so this goes in the center area like so. And then this whole assembly goes underneath of here, right? So if I were to take the flange and stick it like so, then I could have all of this assembly sit just like so, right? So then the coal sits in here. Down here is where the air, like the blower goes, and then so the air comes up through this hole here, and the clinker goes out the bottom. It looks to me like there is a notch that much space for the coal. Will there be a large pile on top of the disc? Yes. So the reason that we have all of this area around here is so that we can have excess coal, right? So we don't actually need the fire to be all that big in this area right here. I do need to actually put a grating in here so that the coal doesn't fall through this hole. And let me show you what that looks like on my other forge real fast. So on my old forge, I had this guy, right? So it would sit right in there. This guy is too big for this particular break, but it worked beautifully for my other forge. So basically, you get like another grate like this, and it'll sit on here, and then all the coal will pile up in over the brake rotor and be all around here. So then you use a rake and you rake it back in so that you can continue burning. So this is actually a bathroom drain for like a shower. It's made of black iron pipe, and you can actually, or like the same stuff as black iron pipe, you can actually see where it's cracked right here, and that's because the heat, as it goes, it kind of destroys these guys. So these guys are very disposable. Yeah. Good to know that I can trip over it and not worry about it breaking. But yeah, that's it. So I'm pretty excited about this. We're definitely going to have to come out or go out into the carport and see how it functions. So I'm really excited about this, guys. It is very trippable. It kind of is because I've got the legs are kind of splayed out a little bit. But overall, it'll be all right. I am looking forward to seeing that thing go. Yeah. So like I said, I did post a couple videos from when I pulled out the forge yesterday, and those will start popping out on, they'll start coming out tomorrow. So if you are interested in seeing what the coal forge looks like, not this one, the other one. This one I will have out very shortly. I'll probably need another couple weeks to kind of pull the kinks out and stuff. But yeah, overall, this is our lovely new coal forge, and I will be making a lot of neato things on this guy. I'm really looking forward to making some hammers and some axe heads, and the pin spot heat from a coal forge is going to help us if we have to do any forge welding. Seeing right. Typical mistake for a German pitfall of English glamour. Yeah, or grammar. Yeah. Nice. So yeah, that's really all I have for today. So thank you all for joining me. I have had so much fun with this project, guys. So on Wednesday, I've got to come up with a good project. We'll probably, come up with something good to do. I might work a little bit on or I might make another soapstone holder maybe. I'm not entirely sure. I'll come up with something fun to do. But we've got 2 days that we can kind of fill before Saturday. So I'm really looking forward to it, and we'll see what I can come up with. So if any of you have any suggestions for people to raid, let me know. Otherwise, we'll find somebody. Thank you and have a nice day. You guys too. And I will see you on Wednesday. I need to wipe my hands so I can use the keyboard. All right. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys. Who are we raiding today? Let's see. Is there anybody on my friends list? Or do we get to find someone new? It looks like Lone Mountain Knife is streaming right now, so I think we're going to go and bug him. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you on Wednesday.